Oh, you have to prove that you really had 5 people.
Yes.
I get it now.
Okay, here's my 5 people.
Mama, Julian just hit me with this ball. He hit me. He hit me.
Looks like you survived.
Can you see me, Taylor? Yes. First of all, I would like to thank you guys all for coming to listen to my speech about should the state of Hawaii offer preschool services. Now, as the mother of 2 young children, I think it's really important, and I hope by the end of the speech you guys will see the importance in educating our children as well. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but the state of Hawaii does not actually provide any preschool services to our youth. There is federal funding through Open Doors, which is PATCH, but that is only for low-income students or like at risk. They're considered at risk. So these children receive funding, but there is no other sort of funding for kids from the state of Hawaii. So if you look here, the National Institute of Early Education did a report on the kindergarten, or the preschoolers, which are served by preschool. So you can see here, there's some that 61 to 71% of the kids actually receive preschool services. The state of Hawaii, 0. We're actually one of only 10 states that do not provide any sort of preschool education to the kids, which means a lot of kids don't go to preschool. So I want to kind of share with you guys why people are not sending their kids to preschool and why it's important for the state of Hawaii to offer preschool, what some of the short-term benefits of preschool are, and then also what are some of the long-term benefits of sending children to school. And this affects everybody, whether you have kids or not. Like, you know, you guys have preschoolers, I have preschoolers, you don't have preschoolers, but it affects you guys as well. So why do more kids not go to preschool? It's too expensive. It costs a lot of money. Do you have any idea how much it costs for preschool?
600 and something a month for Montessori.
For Montessori.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a little bit more than I'm paying, but that's about average for you know how much people are spending. And there are the federal funds which are available, but in order to qualify, you have to make 85% of the state median income, which only comes out to, for a family of 4, it's $4,675, which is not a lot of money, because you figure in Hawaii, our housing, our transportation.
Is that a month or a year?
This is your monthly gross that you
monthly,
have to
okay.
make. But still, that's not a lot of money, you know, and
No.
when we're talking $600 to send your child to preschool, a lot of people can't afford to
What
spend
is
that
this
much
again?
money. This is to be eligible for federal funding.
Got it.
Okay, so this is how much you have to make below in
Got it.
order to get the federal funding. So a lot of people are not sending their kids to school just because they can't afford it. In fact, I'm spending more on Austin's preschool, my daughter. I spend $5,450 a year to send her to preschool. My community college for the whole year, full time, is $3,314. So preschool is more than my college education, you know? So with my 2 daughters, 5 years, I have spent over $27,000 on preschool. And that's why people don't send their kids to preschool. I scraped, you know, luckily I had enough to where I was able to send my kids by, you know, not doing without a new car or anything like that. But that's a lot of money to be able to spend. And if people were offered preschool, then they would send their kids to school because they could afford to, right? So Patch, like I said, does offer, but there is none from the state. So if the state would help, then more people would send their kids. So what are some of the things that kids learn in preschool? Now it looks like they're having fun. People think they just play. That's all they do is they play in preschool. But what happens at preschool is it sets them up to become learners. And that's the most important thing. It gets them excited, it gets them interested, and they learn things at the same time. The Office of the Governor's Executive Office of Early Education finds 85% of brain development happens before they're 5. So this is a very important time to be motivating them and educating them and getting them ready for learning. It prepares them cognitively, linguistically, emotionally, and physically. And they learn letter recognition, numbers, phonics, science, social skills. And it's important that they learn these. They learn motor skills, you know, they learn how to write. Over here, she's painting, but she's learning how to hold a paintbrush. So when she gets to kindergarten, she'll be able to write, you know, and she'll have that added advantage. They're problem solving here, cooperative, learning to listen, taking directions, learning to work together in a group. So these are all things that when they get to kindergarten, the teacher doesn't have to worry about. She can focus on the academic teaching of the child instead of like, sit down, you need to listen, wait your turn, raise your hand. So they can focus on doing that. So preschool really gives them that basic skills to excel once they get to school. So what are the long-term benefits of sending your child to preschool? And this is where it affects everybody. Like I said, it doesn't just affect parents, it affects the state of Hawaii. If a child goes to preschool, they have found that, according to the National Institute of Early Education Research, that the chances are children are less likely to be held back in school, and then also they don't need special education programs. And we're spending money to send children to special education because they're repeating grades. So, you know, this is money that comes out of our pockets. So if we take that money and put it into the early education, we'll be spending less of this money at that time. So according to the Hawaii State Legislature, they commissioned a report by the Annie E. Casey Foundation. And what they find that if children get to, what's that? What did you do?
I always have to sit down here.
Did you stop my recording or something?
No, I'm trying not to make noise.
Oh. Is it still recording? I'm sorry.
I didn't touch it at all.
It's still recording? Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry. I was just like, no. Excuse the interruption there. But according to this report by the Annie E. Casey Foundation, they find that children, when they reach the 3rd grade, if they don't know how to read proficiently, they start falling behind. Because by the time you get to 3rd grade, that's when you're learning about all the other important subjects. And if you can't read, you're going to struggle, and you're going to feel like you can't succeed. And so these children who cannot proficiently read by 3rd grade are more likely to drop out of school than children who go to preschool and get that head start that they need. So, you know, by being better prepared, we have more children graduating. The long-term benefits of sending your child to preschool, the Urban Child Institute, which is an advocacy group for early education, finds that the quality of life by the age of 27, by sending your kids to preschool, the quality of life is better than for the children who do not have preschool. They make more money, they have better chances of owning a home, they have probably never accepted welfare. Also, it affects the amount of arrests. Kids who don't go to preschool, more than 2 times likely to be arrested for a felony by the age of 27. You know, so these are big numbers. By the age of 40, they are more likely to make more money, to be employed, and also to have a savings account. So it's really important that we support these children because they're going to grow up. They're our next generation. The Hawaii Executive Office of Early Learning reports that quality preschool benefits everybody. They actually say that more people are completing higher levels of education. There's reduced homelessness, less people on welfare, there's less crime, less substance abuse. And so what happens is we're paying less for the social services. You know, because we spend a lot of money combating welfare. Benefits to people on welfare, working against drugs, things like that. A lot of money is spent there. So if we take that money and put it into the youth, we'll be spending less money there. So it really helps to contribute to the growth of Hawaii in a whole. So like I said, even if you don't have preschool kids, my kids are going to be out of preschool, but I still fully support that they do have preschool. The state of Hawaii also reports that for every $1 that we spend on their education, now we'll get $4 back in future savings and also earnings for the state of Hawaii. So, you know, that's quite a big return on our investment. So, preschool is definitely a vital instrument in preparing our children for success, but the fact is, a lot of people can't afford to send their kids to school. So if the state of Hawaii offered preschool services, why wouldn't you accept those benefits for your children? We all want to see our children succeed. We all want to see them do well. If we are given the instrument to do that and it's free, who would not want to send their child to preschool? So if the state of Hawaii does that, like I said, I definitely think that more people would send their kids. And so as I leave you, I'm going to leave you with one last statistic. According to the National Institute of Early Education Research, the average amount that we have spent fiscally on the average student comes out to $3,841. Now, as you remember, you're less likely to go to jail if you have preschool. The average we spend on an inmate, $26,000. So if we take that money and invest it in our youth, then we will get way more returns. So, like I said, I totally support what you provide in preschool services, and I hope maybe you'll look at it a little bit different. Thank you.
Yay!
Good subject for your listeners.
The pictures of the kids are